Wow, excellent. It is always a pleasure to jump on this kind of things. Um, and yeah, you did a good job with the whole introduction. So, I'm everything she said I am. If I should put it that way. Um, let's look at it this way. Who's Gabriel Balogun? Gabriel Balogun is a star. And what does that mean? Literally means that I shine so that through my lights, people can find direction. I shine so that I can enlighten people. I can give them direction. I can give them clarity. My goal in life is that every time you encounter me, you are enlightened to take actionable steps that would help you put your best self and your best work into the world. Um, that rudimentally is who I am. So every other thing I do is centered around it, from learning and development, where I'm helping people learn. I'm coaching individuals on how they can learn, coaching individuals on how they can monetize what they know, or helping organizations grow their performance so that they can achieve their desired results. Um, or even running my style advisory firm and just helping people look better. It's all that mission of helping people put their best self and their best work into the world. All right. It's exciting to be here. I am an unofficial member of Road Trip community. So by virtue of the work that I do, I partner with the community to bring some of the learning projects to life. So it's always a pleasure. I've known Ms. Vic now for about more than a decade. Um, and it's always a pleasure when she calls me to jump on her stuff because it's always been value from day one. All right, today I want to talk about what we have called this procrastination, right? Um, and procrastination is such a very exciting and interesting conversation because it feels like there is a lot of myth around it. So my goal today is to demystify procrastination such that at the end of this session, you are empowered and transformed to to take the required steps that would help you, do your work the way your work should be done. All right, let us begin. So I will be talking on overcoming procrastination. It is a mental toughness training, and what that means is when it comes to personal development, there are various aspects of your life you must develop. You must develop your physical aspect, which is your health. You must develop your mental intelligence. You must develop your social intelligence. You must develop your, most times people say your mental intelligence comprises of your social and your emotional intelligence, right? So, and also your intelligent quotient, which is the IQ, and all those other cues that exist, right? So that's mental. I believe that one of the things that the generations after the millennials may lack is toughness of the mind. And we can see that happening frequently. Any little thing, it is mentally stressed, I'm fatigued, mental health issues, and mental health is in trouble, and all of that. And it is such a big deal for us to be mentally tough. Because if we're not mentally tough, life is very unfair to people that are not mentally tough. Um, Ali, sorry, I call Miss Vic Ali. I mean, that's how I've called her, yes. Please, can you let me know how much time I have so that
All right, great. So you have, well, you have 35 minutes for the conversations and then 10 minutes for Q&A. So that's 45 minutes in total.
perfect. I'd prepared for 45 minutes. All right. Yeah. So 45 minutes from now would be 9:50. Basically 10 o'clock. Oh. All right, let's do this. Now, I was talking about being mentally tough. If you're not mentally tough, the world will ride you. The world is not nice to people that are not mentally tough, because one of the characteristics of the world is to stretch you, is to train you, is to punch you, is to eat you so hard to check if you are worthy enough to live in it. All right. And if you shy from hard work, if you shy from difficult conversations, if you shy from speaking in public, if you shy from putting yourself out there, then the world will not offer to you the treasures that exist in it. So it's important that you're mentally tough. And procrastination, actually, that's the better pronunciation. Procrastination has stolen from a lot of people. All right. In 45 minutes, my goal is to shape your thinking on how to overcome procrastination. Um, Leonardo da Vinci, popularly known as Da Vinci, this is possibly one of the most iconic names in the world history, apart from Jesus Christ. Right? This guy is extremely popular. This guy is known, and it will be known for generations to come. But did you know that in the what's it called? The how do you pronounce that now? In that era where he existed, there was also another guy called Michelangelo. And now the biggest problem with Da Vinci was procrastination. And I'm using this example because I'm speaking to a lot of creative people. And when you think of the peak of creativity, the peak of creative intelligence, Leonardo sits there. I mean, this guy was an artist, he was a scientist. History has it that he performed the first blood transfusion. History has it that he created the first military archer. History has it that he was a mathematician, he was an engineer, he was a painter, a sculptor, he was everything you could think of. It was the definition of what you call a polymath, right? The real polymath. And history has it that he was so terrible at starting projects and never finishing them, right? It took him 15 years to create Mona Lisa, not because it was difficult, but simply because he started and stopped. Now, he used a unique painting style that, and well, it has its benefits. Um, People that have studied the Mona Lisa painting have discovered that there are a lot of start and stops in the paint brushes. And that's because he did at one point, stopped, maybe went there for another 3 years and continued. And that's why that image is very, very, very weird. If you look at that image and you're smiling, the image smiles back. If you look at the image and it feels like the image can mimic your art's intentions. Um, the worst one was a painting called The Virgin of the Rocks. It was the painting of um, Mary when they were escaping from Herod into Egypt, and now she was in the wilderness, and these baby angels were around the cupids and all of that. It took him 25 years. This was a project that was commissioned to him by the state to complete in 7 months. Baba completed it in 25 years. Why? Procrastination. He died at 67 and completed only 15 paintings. This was a man that had tons and tons and tons of unfinished work. Tons of unfinished work. But he could only complete 15. But then you look at Michelangelo and you can see so much of what Michelangelo did. they were a generation apart. So when they say somebody's a generation apart, it's like millennial Gen Z. So it's not like they were too far from themselves. In fact, you could call them peer groups depending on maybe if the person was the end of the millennial generation and this other person was the beginning of the Gen Z generation. So they were mostly peer groups, right? And some of us are at this stage, we have portfolios of 15 years in the making. Some of us have logo design that we've been doing for the last 10 years. Let me break it to you. The world, the beauty and the blessing that you owe the world, you are denying the world of it because of your procrastination. And there was a commission of, and this blew my mind when I was studying. There's a commission that Da Vinci was supposed to paint about a certain type of war that existed in history. And Michelangelo too was supposed to paint that same picture. And because both of them used two different painting styles, they were supposed to paint two different walls in one of the most popular buildings in Rome, on two sides of the wall. They never did it because, number one, they spent half of the time arguing at each other and shading each other and saying your design is whack, my design is whack. And then Da Vinci had issues with the government that hired him because he did not finish the one that they gave him on time. Michelangelo also had issues, and both of them stabbed the world of what those images could look like. If you were, one of the biggest desires I have is to go to Rome and go to the Roman Catholic Church in Vatican City, and other buildings are in the Vatican City, and just see the paintings of these guys. Their sculpture, their oil painting, their realism painting, and whatever kind of painting that they did. They were enigmas. But this specific guy stabbed us of the many blessings that he could give us. He gave us only 15 paintings. 15 out of a possible 500. There's a series I want us to watch called Da Vinci Demons. I'm not sure if it still exists. It's very old. But if you can find it, it's really a good series to watch for creatives. And you'll discover the uniqueness of this guy. Now, I spent a lot of time on this because I wanted to show you how, in real life, how one man's procrastination stabbed the creative world of his blessings. And many of you are there. For instance, now, the next level in your career, you've not gotten there because your portfolio is not out. And there is confidence in your chest, and you are confident to say, I've been doing my portfolio for 3 years. It's not a sign that you're a special person. No. To very serious people, it's a sign that you've not figured your life out. And that's just the simple truth. Because you can't be so talented. It can't be that you have done so much work and there's no proof. So we ask you, what have you done? You are showing us social media pages of designs you have made. You are showing us, this app that was made. Nah. You need to have something that I can stumble upon and I can tell myself, if I don't hire this person, fear of missing out will kill me. Ali, you sit on this. Now you sit on this table pass. But I'm going to come for you in the DMs. Don't worry. This topic that you gave me talk about, now you will collect and pass today. Right? But let's proceed. Now, this is simply the truth about procrastination. Procrastination is your way of coping with the challenging emotions induced with certain tasks. So when you are procrastinating, it is not a, how do I explain this? It is you trying to cope, right? It is you trying to cope with the challenging emotions that come from doing a certain task. For some of us, designing our portfolio is challenging because you're asking where I won't find all the work where I don't do. I don't even know where to start. So I will do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow. We've been saying tomorrow now for the last 5 years. And it's God's mercy that is giving us jobs. But the most intelligent people in the world have proof. Your proof cannot be, I sabi this thing. Your proof should be, I am not here. My portfolio can get to Hungary, can get to Switzerland, can get to Luxembourg. And without interacting with me, they can make a decision that this person, we want her on the team. Right? And that's what procrastination is stopping you from. Now, you are not a, so let me start breaking mental barriers, because one of the things I also do is coaching. You are not a procrastinator. You just have the habit of procrastinating. I want everybody to write this in the comments. Write it in first person singular. I am not a procrastinator. I just have the habit of procrastinating. Oh yeah, let's do it. First exercise. I am not a procrastinator. I just have the habit of procrastinating. Oh yeah. I'm waiting for us. I am not a procrastinator. I just have the habit of procrastinating. I am not a procrastinator. I just have the habit of procrastinating. Isaac is not small. If for you writing small, you have it well. No, Lawa, you cannot write it later. You must write it now. Thank you guys for writing. Lawa, I'm waiting for you. Awesome. And it's so important that this becomes your thinking pattern. I am not a procrastinator. I just have the habit of procrastinating. And it is such a beautiful thing to know, because the culprit for procrastinating is stress. So you procrastinate not because you are not ordered, or you are not a organized person. No, that's not why you procrastinate. You procrastinate because you are stressed. If you remember the definition of procrastination, it says that it is your coping mechanism with challenging emotions induced with certain tasks. So when you think of your portfolio, you are stressed of the idea of doing it. So you procrastinate. So you see that it's a habit. It is not who you are. Because if I say you should send your account details now, let me furnish you with small 2 million. You will not procrastinate sending it. You will send it on the call. But because it is your portfolio and it is work, your mind immediately associates that thing with stress. See, anything your mind associates with stress, it will run from. Folks, that's the secret for your procrastinating. The reason why you're procrastinating is because the thing you are procrastinating is the thing is stressing your thinking, is stressing your mind. For some of us that in relationship, you know something is happening, that this thing way they do, it don't make sense. But you put off that conversation. You keep saying, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. Because you know having that difficult conversation will stress your mind. So you procrastinate it till the same thing happens with your clients. It's 2 days before delivery, 3 days before delivery, that the spirit of work will come upon you. After this meeting, it will stop in Jesus' name. I've come to speak to everybody here that does last minute inspiration. And he said it will break today. All right. So it's because you're stressed about it. And I'm going to show you how you can change your thinking so that you can get stuff done. How many of us are enjoying ourselves so far? If you've been enjoying yourself, you can either just say yes or just give me a thumbs up or use any of the Jeremiah, why are you not enjoying yourself? What did I do? Don't worry, after this meeting, your chest would stop ding ding ding. Now, let me teach us, and the reason why I wanted us to decree that I am not a procrastinator, I just have the habit of procrastinating, is because once you understand that it is a habit, then we can use science to solve it. I, for one, I am very creative. I mean, my slides are designed by me, but I'm also very scientific. So I have creative intelligence. I'm like the creator that created me, Elohim, which is the right. So as much as I apply creativity in the things that I do, it is backed up by science. And it's very important that you get that. Now, every habit has three components: the trigger, the pattern, and the reward. The trigger, the pattern, and the reward. I can tell you for free that nobody in this world has jurisdiction or has power over the things that trigger stress in their lives. Lagos alone, if you step out of your house, is billing. It's stressful. In fact, you are in your house, you are doing meeting like this jejely. Somebody in your compound is swearing for another person. Stress. Right? You are watching film, is when they want to punch the bulls. NEPA will take light. Stress. So we cannot control the triggers in our lives. You are just on your own, jejely. Like this meeting now, you say, let me come and do village meeting. Stray bullets eat you. Stress. Right? So you cannot control the triggers in your life. You also cannot control the rewards in your life. So the only thing that you can control directly is the patterns of your life. However, the pattern you choose after you are triggered determines the reward you would receive. So let's do a quick example. You are tired, like extremely tired. And then you know that you're supposed to write an email. The moment you pick up your laptop, your brain is already saying, hey, bros me. People like say, you don't know what's they happen upstairs. You are too tired to write any email now. Better just go and watch Taoma skit or go and watch Lai Wasabi and laugh. And every time you want to do work and you are stressed, because the first time you did it and you watched Lai Wasabi and you watched Project Mbappe, and you're like, hey, I feel a lot better now. What you have done is that you have built a pattern in your brain that has given you the reward of dopamine. So in our brain, there's a reason why our brain is zigzag and our brain is not smooth. Our brain is one of the organs that is not smooth. If you see your brain in real life, you vomit. It's a very jaga thing. But what we don't know is that those jaga we see are literally pathways that intelligence works on in your brain. So there is a concept in science and in psychology called neuroplasticity, which means that if you continue thinking in a certain way, your brain will create pathways automatically to the point that you move from unconscious competence Sorry, from the point that you move from conscious competence to unconscious competence. So, for instance, everybody knows now, depending on how you have your bath, if you take your toothpaste and you have your toothbrush, you can close your eyes, okay, maybe not, you will miss it. You can put your toothpaste on your toothbrush, but if you close your eye and put your brush in your hand, you can brush your teeth without even know you are brushing your teeth. That is what neuroplasticity has done for us. It gives us the ability to move from consciously doing something to unconsciously doing something. Now, for some of us, we have become experts at procrastinating because we have taught our brain to run away from stress. So every time we are triggered by stress, the pattern we have is to go and eat so that we can have the reward of dopamine. Some people's pattern is to go and watch Tahoma. They don't stress me like this. Make I just reach out, watch Tahoma. Some people, after they've been stressed, their own partner is to go and disturb their boyfriend or do video call from the office. My boss is stressing me. My boss is stressing me. And your boyfriend, generally, we're nothing concerned. We have to be doing, okay, is that so? The smart ones will be like, tell me about it. That guy said it's not correct. The ones that are not so smart will try to be explaining, and it's more trouble for them. But I'm not discussing relationship today, so let me focus. But we are procrastinating because our patterns have forced us to seek feel-good hormones called those. So there are feel-good hormones called those: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. Once we are triggered, people are laughing. So we've built the habit of not doing the work because it stresses us to doing something else so that we can feel at ease. And then when it is 2 days to the end of the work, there's no stress anymore because we now know that the reward is the consequences of that reward is that they pay us our balance, or they go and change it for us on Twitter, or they fire us from work. So we now do the work. So that inspiration, that thing we call inspiration, it's not inspiration, it's a fear of the consequence that will happen. So the consequence of what will happen if we don't deliver now inspires us to do the work. And we end up, for some people, it blows my mind when they say, another time I did do my best work like this. Another time I did do my best work. 2 days to delivery, I will do my best work. Scam. That's not true. Because you were not designed to function under stress. So you can't do your best work when you are stressed. Because the 2 days of doing the work that you think is inspiration, your body will tell. It will tell on your body 4 days later. Thank you, adrenaline. Once it leaves you, your body goes scatter. The money you are not supposed to use and buy shawarma, use and buy paracetamol. Because you just put unnecessary. So you see, the irony is that the stress that you are running from, you will not do it in 3 days or 4 days. Sometimes I imagine trying to build out a whole brand guideline or a brand guidebook in 4 days. How you want to do them? But I mean, there are superheroes that do it. Anyway, so your goal is, and this is what I want to teach you today, the meat of my message. I'm trying to finish this so that we can have about 40-20 minutes to really go into questions, because I want people to ask me questions and give me real life examples. And what you're supposed to do now is to change your pattern. And let me teach us how to change our pattern. We need to move from seeing our work as output to start seeing our work as input. Let me explain what that means. Now, this guy that has been given logo design to do, and every time he just thinks of, oh God, this logo I want to do, I don't even know where to start. It's stressing my brain, Jerry. Let me go to Twitter and see what they are dragging. And you just spend the next 3 hours on Twitter, and you're like, time don't go. I will do this thing again tomorrow. what you are choosing to do every time you think of doing the work is that you are choosing the pattern of ease. The first advice is you need to stop choosing the pattern of not doing the work and start choosing the pattern of doing the work. And the easiest way to do that is input. So when you think of logo design, break down the 5 things or the 6 things or the 10 things you need to do to design a logo. I used to tell people, if you can just do things and you cannot teach how to do those things, you are not a master of that thing yet. So I, for instance, I can do possibly some of the best training slides you will see. But I can't claim to be a master because I don't know how to teach it. I didn't learn design by design principles. I learned design by practice and failing. Oh, this color fits this design. Okay, I've learned about the rule of third. Okay, let me put, because in my search for knowledge, I learn about scientific concepts or concepts in photography that applies in design or concepts in design that applies in tech. And I just try to implement everything. But I can't teach design. So I don't even claim to be a master of PowerPoint slides because I can't teach it. I just do it. Now, every single person, and one of the things I'm trying to do now is I'm intentionally trying to learn about, so I'm taking basic design courses so that I can understand the principles of lines, shapes, and all those things. So that when I'm teaching it, I can now teach it with those design principles. Every creative person here, you need to learn the science of your work. Because until you learn the science of your work, you cannot defeat procrastination. The science of your work means that how you do something, you need to be able to break it down such that if you have work and you give that work to somebody and you give that breakdown step-by-step guide to somebody, the person will deliver the work the same way you will deliver it. That is you making a science of your work. Creativity does not exist in a vacuum. That's my problem with creative people. You think that you exist in a vacuum. But creativity and science are both sides of the same coin. Everything, what is creativity? Creativity is your ability to bet solutions out of nothing. It is not colors and fanciness. No. It is, there is a problem. That's why when you meet creative strategies or brand strategies, there is a problem. They can use their strategic mind to bet out solutions from that problem. And then a graphic designer can look at those texts and use that text to create an image that can represent that text that he has received from the strategist. So you need to understand that science is part of your work as a creative. Because if you don't understand this, you can't practice input. So when you're supposed to design a logo, for instance, somebody gives you a logo and they tell you they don't want to see, in fact, they don't care where you get inspiration from. They want something out of the box. Out of the box. Like if it's for instance, a car brand, they don't want to use the existing style of, no. They want you to create something out of the ordinary. And they say, we've come to you because you are the best. So you see that, and every time you are thinking, you say, hey, God, now who say I'll be the best? Hey, God, I don't cast me. And you are thinking of the work. What you need to do is to ask yourself, what is the first step in creating logo? My process. So you have to make a science of your process. You have to document it. Don't let me use create. Let me use something as simple so that we can replicate it in our design. Let's say the task is you need to write your resignation mail. A lot of people struggle to do that. You need to write your resignation mail. And you're like, I don't push this thing from 3rd month. Now it's 4 weeks. And they say if I don't send this thing in 4 weeks, I have to stay another 1 month. Hey, God, help me. Help me, help me, help me. You understand that to write an email, there are possibly 4 things you need to do. You need to write the headline. You need to write the salutation. You need to write the body. You need to write the conclusion. Now, original pattern, write an email of resignation. The thought stresses you out. you leave it, you go and watch Live Wasabi, you get the reward. You say, I'll do it tomorrow. That's pattern one. Pattern two is you need to write your resignation email. The stress eats your brain and say, God, how I want to write this thing. You decide to write only the headline today. That is input. So you don't think of the entire email. You think of what is the first thing that I can do in this entire body of work. I can write the email, the headline. Let me just write the headline today. By writing the headline, you've done 1/4 of the work. Don't worry about the whole email that day. Just write only the headline. And then the next day, you're like, this same email. Okay, I've written the headline. Let me just write the introductory part. Dear sir, I write this email to inform you that I will be leaving the company by the end of the month. Full stop. Leave it. Go and do another work. Come back the third day. You write another part. You'll be shocked that by the end of the week, you have written that email. And that's how you decide. That's how you defeat procrastination. Now it's easy because it's email. You can use AI tools for that. But when it comes to your work, it becomes more difficult. Because now you have to write a content, you have to build a content roadmap for an organization that is launching. That's the task on your desk. Rather than procrastinating, just start with what's the very first thing to do when I'm building out content. Maybe mood boards. Do that. And the more you keep doing that, you would realize that you have mastered how to do your work in bits. Again, the problem with people is you want to do everything at once. So you will do an all-nighter so that you can boast and say, I sat with this thing for 7 hours. And by the 7th hour, this is what I've betted. Scam. The best people don't work like that. I can tell you for free. Another thing again is, if you don't know how to document your process, you will be charging absolute fees. See, you guys don't even know what procrastination has stolen from you. Because to apply inputs now, you have to build a science of your process. If to design a logo, you have to do research. You have to do whatever, all those things. Maybe you have to do 4 things. Because you have now spaced it out and you built a science out of it, of your process, and you know what inputs is required per step, you can charge your client per step. So a logo design that you will charge, that's why you see some people who charge. See, I worked with, and some of us may not know these guys, I worked with Adora Lumina and Mr. Fisher when there was still Trellis. I don't know how many of us know Trellis. If you know Trellis, say hi. When Trellis Group was Trellis, and they were designing for some of the biggest organizations in the world, in Nigeria, I was project manager, training, and some other work. We were charging, as of that time, I think this was 2016 or 2017? Between 2017 and 2018. We're charging about 3 million for a logo design. Then 1.5 for this one. That was when people were still charging maybe 300k or 200k or 50k for design. We're charging 3.5, and it was well spaced out. Research, this is the price. This one, this is the price. Brand guideline, this is the price. MEC, this is the price. When we deliver the work and we deliver the invoice, you will not tell us, this money is too much. We'll ask you, which one do you want us to remove? Which one can you do yourself and bring to us? Let us continue. But because we have not done this, we think it is smart. I'll charge 500k for logo. I'll just do one all-nighter. But you're not doing your best work because you don't even understand your own process. That's why the people that understand the process of their work cannot procrastinate. They cannot. You look at Fort Canvas, for instance. Do you know how much Fort Canvas charges for logo? I worked with Fort Canvas too. So I've played a lot in the creative space. I worked with Fort Canvas. I was their, still am, but on contract now. I was their learning and development consultants for a training they did when they wanted to move certain people to certain levels. African Challenger brands. I was project manager for that work with Fort Canvas with Victor Vatomi and a couple of other people. So I know how much they charge for brand design. And it's because there's a science to their work. So they cannot procrastinate. So I want you to do this for me. Wherever you are, touch your head and say, I am not a procrastinator. I just have the habit of procrastinating. And it breaks today. Today, after today, I will make a science of my work. And I'll start doing my work in bits. So every time I am stressed and I want to go and watch Lai Wasabi or Taoma or Brain Jota, I will choose to write or do one part of the work first. Because when you do that consistently, you become a professional. Let me end with this before I give us an opportunity to ask questions. Being a professional is not being good at your job. No. What makes you see, if you are good at your job, they can give you many names. You are a talent. You are a whiskey. You are a what are those cool names? You're a genius. Leonardo da Vinci was a genius, but he was a terrible professional. You are a professional when there is a guideline to the delivery of your work, such that when people encounter you, even if you're an individual, they've met an institution, they know that if this person tells me that my work will take research, this and that, and is charging me 2 million naira, and has told me the first deliverable will come on this day, and the second deliverable will come on this day, and the third deliverable will come on this day, you are going to give your client an opportunity to properly recommend you. But if all you are giving to them is finished products, they won't rate you. But if you space out your work for and tell them this project will take you 2 months, sir, and this is why the first 2 weeks is for research, and at the end of the research, I will give you what it looks like. We will discuss on it before we move into the second step. So it means for the period of this engagement, we will meet 4 times. The person knows that I'm talking to somebody that is, okay, that gets this thing. So when you have built your work that way, you cannot procrastinate. Because you're not seeing yourself as an individual. You're seeing yourself as an institution. I tell people you are the CEO of You Incorporated. And I mean, this is my personal brand. I would have gone deeper into that statement. However, your entire work is built on the perception people have about you. And if you are not perceived as a professional, they will always bring you into side projects. They will never give you the main deal. They will never give you the main deal. They always say, this one, she can do content. Let's bring her. Let her join the project. So you need to start thinking big. Start thinking. That's why it's a mental toughness training. And I'm glad some of us are saying it's emotional, it's bash, it's beams. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to shape your thinking. It's supposed to force your brain to realign. Because this is 2024. You cannot do what you did in 2023 and expect that $1 million or that 10 million naira or that 5 million naira you set as your financial goal can happen. It cannot work. Your mindsets have to change. Your work pattern has to change. Everything about you has to change. The perception of yourself has to change. If you value yourself and you respect yourself enough, you will not delay your client's work. If you see yourself as McKinsey, or you see yourself as, I don't know, all the big design studio and all the big firms you guys think of, you will not delay your own work, because you understand that for every time I don't deliver or don't do this work now, I am stopping other jobs from coming in. So if I complete this in the 1 month I need to complete it, I can pick up another one. In fact, I can start pitching for another one. But if you spent the last 3 years working on your portfolio, I beg, who won't hire you? Who wants to see the amazing things that you have done? You think people still have time to check? See, if maybe that's another day, if I have an opportunity to talk about how to even design a portfolio and to design the way people want to see things and what people are looking for when they look at your portfolio. And it has nothing to do with fanciness. I'll tell you again, it has nothing to do with fanciness. It has nothing to do with, if I click it, one guy will be doing Michael Jackson and be walking to open. Now, it has nothing to do with that. Nothing. It has a lot more to do with how you can tell and shape opinions in your favor. Your portfolio is supposed to shape the opinion of the person reading it in your favor. So sometimes the plenty design you put on it is already making the person think, which kind of stress be this? I just want click, make I see. Which one is the mean walking that is dancing or the rolling? I don't have this time. But that's another talk for another day. But you don't know what as the opportunities that you have lost because you have not put yourself out there. You don't have a body of work. In fact, you should stop calling yourself a creative if you don't have any body of work. From today, cease to be called a creative until you have a body of work. Because the reason why we know Da Vinci is that even though he didn't do plenty, he has 15 body of work. The reason why we know Michelangelo is that they have body of works. For instance, Mr. Fisher, Akinlabi Ablumo, created in Danny TV that we know today when he was at GT Bank. The redesign of Sterling Bank years ago, where they had all those plenty red. These guys did work when I was at Trellis. And then you will lie, thank you, NDA. I have a non-disclosure agreement. I'm sure you know that with NDA, depending on how smart you are, you can demand when you are signing the NDA that I need to show this work, not for commercial purposes, but for proof of work. It can be included in the NDA that you can show for proof of work, but not for commercial purposes. And that if they are going to force you to sign an NDA, then they must pay you more. You guys don't even know what you have left on the table. This is not management. See, there's so much I can teach that there's limited time to teach. Right? So on this note, I would stop and allow us ask questions. So if you have questions, please hit me so that I can give a bit of clarity to the questions.
Thank you so much, GB. Thank you so much, Gabriel. So, guys, I mean, if you are cold, this is the time to warm up your questions. the chills down your spine, the bullets through your O's and your heart. So please, if you want to turn on your mic, please just signify so that I can know. Sorry now, sorry for the laugh. Even me self got hit. I don't understand why you are shouting my name. Anyways, please, if you have questions, please signify so that I will know that you want to speak. But or if you are too shy to speak, please drop your questions in the chat. Please drop your question in the chat. Questions around procrastination, questions around overcoming procrastination as a creative, questions around this the science of your work that would help you overcome procrastination. Please feel free to ask.
Wow. So this is my problem when I speak. When I teach sometimes, it feels like I say a lot that the questions people have, I've answered it in my teaching, or I have given them information overload, and then there's no question for them to ask because they are full. But please, I feel like Q&A. I'm planning to do a session sometime this year, and it's just going to be a Q&A session. No talking. Everybody will just come in with questions about life, about personal development, professional development, and we'll just answer, because I feel like a lot of people don't ask the questions that are in their mind for the fear of others, or for the fact that, see, no need to come to the DM and ask me. Just ask us now. Okay, what do you do to stop over criticizing your work and undermining your personal value? The simple answer to that is to believe that you matter. See, the biggest legacy that parents can give their kids is not education. I know we sang it, education is the best legacy. No. The biggest legacy you can give your child is self-esteem. And a lot of our parents failed at it. They either spoke at us and shut us up when we were talking too much. Some of us might have become public speakers today, but because we were shut up when we were small, we can't talk again in public. We are claiming introverts when the entirety of us wants to go out, right? So sometimes over criticizing your work and undermining your personal value may be as a result of how you see yourself. When you look at the mirror every day, do you see an hustler or do you see a king? Because let me tell you for free, there's this battle on Twitter recently about lion and tiger, and who is supposed to be the king of the jungle. When you see both of them, one has the elegance of a king, the other has the elegance of an hustler. When you see the tiger, the guy is an hustler. He has no pride. He has nobody he's carrying along. He's a loner. So you can't be a king. You're a king of what? Is what they call, the tiger is what people call the Sigma creature. They're not alphas, they are Sigma. They are alone. But when you look at the lion, he has a pride. He has kids. He has women. That's king. That's royalty. That's elegance. So he's a king. Why should he hunt? I mean, why? But then you cannot attack the pride of a lion, and it's the lioness that are fighting. It's not possible. It's the king. It's the lion himself that would defend his pride. That's what makes him a king. So when you wake up in the morning and you stare in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see someone that is trying to survive in Nigeria? Or do you see someone that is striving irrespective of whatever is happening? When you understand that you matter and that this work I do is that, except you copy the work you do and you don't bet it from within, if it's something you built, you researched, you study, and you brought it out from within, and it has your imprint on it, then it matters, irrespective of what any other person says. All right, Ahmed, you matter. That's the most important thing. You matter, and because you matter, your work matters. So even when you do something and it's not looking like another person's work that you think is the best, I'm sure you know that art is very relative. There are people that pay millions of dollars for abstracts that if I see now, Suya, I go use and pack. So nobody in the world can really tell you that your design is not fine. Because it is art and it is very relative. And truly, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Right? So you matter. Abubakar says, I don't know if you shared this when I was not on the call, but if you didn't, can you share your own experience with procrastination and how you handled it? It was my story I shared with you, honestly. I made a science of my work and I started doing my work in bits. And so no matter how tired I am, if I need to write an article, I will write the first paragraph and go and sleep. It happens so much beyond work. See, let me make you guys laugh. I was going to dress to church today. And for someone that likes style, I had clothes already, ironed, everything. And I was telling myself that I want to wear so and so outfit to church, but I don't even know what it is yet. So you know what I did? I spent the night on Pinterest figuring out the style. That is me imputing. So when I woke up with inspiration because I had done part of the work. So I just went to my wardrobe, looked at the Pinterest again, the pins that I've seen, and say, be like, say this one will work. Looked at my outfit. Okay, I have this shirt, I have this type of trouser, I have this shoe. Bam, I don't come out. That's how you deal with procrastination. Don't leave the work and go and watch film. Even if you are going to watch the film, do 1/3 of the work first. That's what I do. You can call it the rule of third or any rule that makes it easy for you to understand. But before you satisfy yourself, do the work first and then go and satisfy yourself. How do you balance procrastination and leaving enough time to generate creative ideas and direction? Again, I might be a bad person for saying this, but this is what I think. Ideas don't exist in a vacuum. And sometimes we saying I need time to brood may actually be a comfortable lie we are telling ourselves because we don't want to do the work. Right? But leaving time to generate creative ideas don't come in a vacuum. Creative ideas come when you are researching. So the time that you are leaving, are you using it to research? Because you know what I've noticed with people, they say I need time to brood, is the day they want to do the work, they are researching. That's not leaving time to generate ideas. Are you waking up and say, okay, I'm going to give myself 2 weeks to come up with ideas, but it's not the 14th day or the 13th day you are coming up with the idea. It's day 1 of 2 weeks. What am I reading that can give me an idea? Okay, I got this idea 1. Day 2, idea 2. Day 3, idea 3. Day 4, okay, let's look through the first 3 ideas. What made sense? Which one can I eliminate? Day 5, another idea. That's how you leave enough room to generate creative ideas. It blows my mind. Someone asks you to do a social media banner. You are giving them 1 design. It's because you have not spent time in generating ideas. You should be somebody that they're asking for logo design. You are giving them 5. That's how they value your work. There's a reason why you cannot give just 1 design as logo for feedback. You have to give 3. The industry says do at least 3. It's because they are helping you. You have to help your people make decisions. So when everybody is doing 3, but you are doing 5. Everybody is doing 3, you are doing 7. They're like, okay. Like I say, this guy is sabi work. See, for every dime somebody pays you, you have to make them feel like the money they paid you is small compared to the work that you are giving them. So please, in your leaving enough time to generate creative ideas, ensure that you are spending each and every moment actually creating and generating ideas. Because Isaac Newton had to be thinking about science for apple to fall on his head and for him to understand that, wow, anything that goes up must come down. If he was not thinking about science, that law of gravity would never have come. So inspiration actually comes to people whose minds are ready to receive it already. It's when you are thinking about something that you do something else and say, wow, this gave me an inspiration for this. All right. Yeah, I spent days working on my website, but it was not pause and start. It was every single day. I worked on my website every single day by myself. And I was Ali was my by force accountability partner. I was sharing it with Ali. If you check it now, it has changed again. That's the person that I am. Right? I think Isaac's hand was up. Then after Isaac, we'll take Jeremiah.
Yeah,
So
he said that Edikan's question was what he wanted to ask, so you've answered it. So Jeremiah,
Right.
Jeremiah,
let's have your last question and we call it a day.
Okay. Hi, Jimmy. Thank you for the opportunity. By the way, yeah, I think Miss Vic needs to know that you're all not a part of the session you had with us last year. But yes, fine.
Did I not wait? Hold on, sorry. Did I not do that session? I didn't do it, Abby.
No.
Okay, don't worry. Okay, I did it for another company. I'll do it.
Okay, see, like
Think
always.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways, my question is going to be born out of a question that someone asked me today. So,
okay.
he said that he's trying to learn like more than one skill currently. I mean, he's like maybe a mid-level product designer, or he
Mm,
works as a mid-level product designer, and he's trying to learn 3D and also Swift UI like at the same time. Now
okay.
she was asking how can he like do it at the same time? Would he break his day or will he break his week, more or less? But my question really is, I mean, in that kind of situation whereby you have two things that are of topmost
Mm,
priority, there's every
mm.
tendency that you would have to procrastinate one over the other at different times. Uh,
Mm.
how can how can you like handle that situation? What can someone maybe do in that kind of
Thank you.
scenario? Yeah.
That's a very, very intelligent question.
I'm a smart person.
Yeah, you're smart. I believe that the brain is a very terrible multitasking tool. I strongly believe that humans were not made to multitask. Um, I so you know the concept of streams. This is what I've learned about streams, and we say these streams of income. Let me use streams of income to explain this. The real idea behind streams of income is not making money from design and then making money from um, engineering. They're making money from different things at the same time. The key word is at the same time. Stream of income is that you have built capacity in one thing that the foundation of that thing has given you leverage to focus on something else. Where while as you are focusing on something else, that thing still thrives with or without you. That's what streams of income is. So, for instance, the guy that wants to learn that is in product designer is mid-level, so I'm assuming there are a couple of things that he knows. But as he's learning other things, can he boast that if work comes to the thing that he's doing, work will not suffer in his attempts to learn other things? So I usually advise, and it's an advice, that try not to move into something else if you've not built some form of expertise in the first thing that you are learning. So, for instance, I can show up and speak now because by virtue of experience, I've spoken on a broad of topics. So, even without preparing for a speaking engagement, I can do a 1 hour session. That is because I've grown expertise in teaching personal development. So, it means that when I'm doing my day job and I have a speaking engagement by evening, my day job do not have to suffer because I have to spend the whole day preparing for that session. I have grown so much at it that I can prepare for that session 10 minutes before the session while still doing my day job. That's how I think people should grow in their learning. That's one. Two, learning also means the acquisition of knowledge, or learning is the absorption of knowledge, the acquisition of skills, and the change in attitude, summing up to lead to a change in behavior. So you have learned when your behavior has changed. If you did not know how to draw with pencil before, the day you learn how to draw with pencil, you have changed behavior. You have moved from somebody that cannot draw with pencil to someone that can draw with pencil. You have learned. So learning only happens when behavior has changed. So this means that there are three things you have to learn. You have to learn the knowledge, or for learning to happen, you have to absorb knowledge, you have to acquire skill, and you have to change attitude to be able to learn. If as a product manager, he wants to learn 3D modeling. Are there aspects of that thing he can learn without necessarily allowing his work to suffer? So, for instance, he's working on, and like I said, the brain is a very terrible multitasking tool. For some, I've mastered it a bit, but it's very terrible. I strongly believe that if you're going to learn anything while you are still, in quotes, learning something else, it makes sense to just focus on one, leave one and do the one first. Be good at that one. The goal is you want to be so good that they cannot ignore your work. They morph to something else. Because if you're learning product, if you're a mid-level product manager, there are still aspects of product management you have not mastered. How does 3D modeling help you become a better product manager? So if you're going to learn something else, it should be what I'm learning can help me do my current tasks better. That is the goal. That's the goal of growth. That's the goal of development. That everything I am choosing to learn on this pathway would help me do what I am doing now better. So, for instance, because I'm going to teach on, I'm speaking on personal development. I have to learn science. I have to learn psychology. I have to learn physiology. I'm learning all these things so that I can bring them into my speaking engagement and leave my people rounded. I'm not going to go and say on my career of being a speaker, I will now go and learn how to dig the ground as an engineer. It does not relate to what I'm doing at the moment. It's totally going to take me away from the work that I'm doing now. And that's why people are living in chaos. We think is acquisition of many skills. No, it's chaos. You do 6 months product management, you leave them. You go do software design, you leave them. You go do content creation. You are living in chaos. You are not a master of anything. Nobody can recommend you for anything. But if you are a product manager and you are doing it, and because you want to be a product manager, you have taken a short course on management, people management. It helps you better manage your software developers than learning software design engineering. And if you are building products and you see, okay, what I want to become is not a business product manager. My pathway is to become a technical product manager. Okay, let me learn front end a bit from the knowledge perspective. So that when I'm speaking to my engineers, they are not boboing me. They are not writing beans for me in the code. I know what HTML looks like because I have learned it as a product manager. So it helps my job. So anybody that is learning anything on your current path, it should be addition to what you are doing. It is to make you different from your work. It should not take you totally away from your work. It should not. Right? So anything you are learning on your job now should make you better at your job. That's why people like Seth Godin can speak about marketing and speak about marketing well. Because that's what they've done all their lives. That's why someone like Leke Aoda can teach you branding, and it will be different from all the mumbo jumbo everybody's talking about. Because it will teach you branding from an intelligent standpoint. That's why your pastors can teach you the Bible and teach you well. Because they're not learning the Quran when they are learning the Bible. So Gen-Zs and the lower generation make this mistake. See, that's why our parents could stay in one place for 28 years. Because that is what they mastered. Some of us, our fathers can repair anything because that's what they've done for 30 years. We need to go back to that dimension of staying power. I'm doing product management now. 3D modeling, every other thing is fancy, but this is what I'm doing now. I'm going to do this for 5 years. By my 5th year, this is what I want to be able to do. This is where I see myself. After that, I can branch out to something else. But then I'm taking the transferable skill of being a product manager to becoming possibly head of products. I can't talk about my career journey because time has gone. But I started from speaking. And I realized that 5 years after school, I want to be head of something. My 5th year after graduation, after my NYSC, I was academic director at UTIVA. I built literally everything UTIVA uses today. And then after that, I said I wanted to do something else. I wanted to move from working in small business. I wanted to work for a multinational. Now I head learning and development at Money Point. It is staying power. I've been doing L&D for 10 years, 10 good years. There's nothing you are bringing to me in learning that I cannot tell you. Nothing. I mean, I've demonstrated a bit today, just a bit. It's staying power. Can you boast about your work like that? I can stay anywhere, go anywhere and talk about L&D and not break a sweat. Instructional design, learning management, learning anything. Because I've been doing it for 10 years. I've been speaking since 2010. It's 2023. I'll be 2024. So everything you are learning, let me end with this. Everything you are learning must help you do your work better. If it is not going to help you do your work better, it is a distraction. If you're a content creator, learn Canva. Because you want to be, that's how you differentiate yourself from the market. When you are presenting your content, you are presenting your content with designs. They say this person is different too. Other people just give us text document. This lady is giving us text document and a sample of what it can look like on Instagram. A sample of what it can look like. This person, I will recommend you. That's how you stand out in a crowded market. On this note, I want to say thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope that with these few words of mine, I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you.